I'm going to time travel through the history of Washington. I have arrived on the west coast of Washington. It is the year 1715. I'm in the Chinook tribe. This coastal village is made of rectangular cedar plank houses. They are about 70 feet long. They are wearing fur robes and moccasins. There are some boats and canoes on the shore. They have bows, arrows, spears, and small knives used to hunt fish. The women are wearing big pieces of jewelry like big earrings. There are a lot of wooden carvings and weaved baskets. As they are eating dinner, which consists mainly of salmon and berries, they are telling a story about a coyote. The chief there is a man. They sleep on reed mats over raised boards. Tomorrow, they are throwing a potluck, and I'm very excited to see this ritual. Now, back in the time-traveling machine. I have now arrived in Fort Vancouver, and it is the year 1830. The Fort Vancouver serves as the headquarters of Hudson Bay Company. It is located on the northern bank of the Columbia River. The people here told me that recently, Chief Douglas was promoted to chief trader of the post. This fort was founded on March 19, 1825. The fort was recently relocated in 1828, about a mile to the west along the shore of the river. Right now, I can see a dining hall, a smoking room, and two big cannons. There seems to be about 500 people living here. It is said that this place is the first large-scale farming and ranching on the West Coast. There are at least 200 cattle here. Back in the traveling machine. I am in the streets of Seattle, and it is the year 1886. There is a lot of tension. The white people of Seattle are rioting because they think that the Chinese are stealing their jobs. They are trying to expose the large population of Chinese in Washington. It is February 7th, and white committees are forcing their way into Chinese homes and demanding the Chinese to leave. The white committees are dragging the Chinese from their beds and forcing them into boats. One Chinese man has been killed and 4 were wounded. Some of the police force of Seattle has tried to protect the Chinese, but Seattle is becoming very violent. It is a horrible time for the Chinese people of Seattle as they are being relocated and dispersed. Back in the time machine. I have arrived in Seattle, and it is 1897. Today is July 17th, and the steamship Portland just docked in Seattle for Alaska. It is carrying 68 prospectors who heard about the gold found in Canada. Seattle is being described as the gateway to the gold fields because people come here to stock up on food and clothing and the easy transportation before heading to the gold. Because of the sudden growth of business and population in Seattle, its economy is prospering. The prospectors travel on the Chilkoot Trail, and they carry heavy clothing and a lot of food for this dangerous journey. I'm back in the time machine. I have arrived in Spokane in the year 1909. The industrial workers of the world, also known as Wobblies, are protesting the freedom of speech. The Wobblies are standing on top of boxes, and they are speaking until the Spokane police yank them off and take them to jail. They are doing this because the Spokane City Council banned speaking on the streets. More than 500 speakers have been arrested. This is a very important part of American history because it is one of the most significant battles to protect free speech in the history of the U.S. Back in the time-traveling machine. It's the year 1942. I'm in Seattle. The Japanese are being expulsed. There are evacuation announcements everywhere, on telephone poles and bulletin boards. The Japanese are being sent to Puyallup at the Assembly Center. The Japanese are being stared at. They have already relocated 9,600 Japanese. On the announcements on the phone poles, it says that the Japanese have to stay away from railroads, tunnels, highway bridges, and radio stations. They are also discouraged from traveling. The FBI considers every Japanese person, even teachers and priests, potential spies. The Japanese people of Washington have their bank accounts frozen and their license plates revoked. Back in the time machine. I have arrived in the year 1962 in Seattle. The famous Space Needle has just been built. I am in the middle of Seattle's World Fair, Century 21. People from all over the world are visiting Seattle and enjoying the view of the Space Needle, the monorail, and the food. There are science, commerce, industry, art, and entertainment exhibits everywhere. Seattle's expanding, and it is becoming more famous worldwide. Century 21 is mentioned in many nationwide newspapers, and many celebrities came to visit the fair. It highly helped the economy of Seattle. This is the year where the famous Space Needle was built. Now I'm going back into the time traveling machine to return to the modern times. I'm finally home in the year of 2015 in Seattle, Washington. There are many major companies here like Expedia, Nordstrom, Starbucks, Amazon, Microsoft, Boeing, and of course Costco. A majority of the adults I know work for these companies. The city keeps growing. The suburbs of Seattle are expanding. There are many activities to do in Seattle like skiing, hiking, and swimming in the ocean or in the lakes. There are many islands, and of course there's very good public transportation. And there are also amazing restaurants. Downtown Seattle is one of my favorite areas of Washington because of the Pike Place Market. Thanks for listening to my experience as a time traveler exploring the history of Washington.